I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:03 p.m. Welcome everybody to our July meeting. First off, before we can start our meeting, I'm going to read the guidelines for conducting an open meeting remotely. As a preliminary matter, this is Aaron Vandestein, the chair of the Board of Library Trustees. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Doug Bowman.
Yes.
Daniela Sharma.
Yes.
Marty Essner.
Yes.
And, staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Elizabeth Patch.
Here.
And Beth Galloway.
May I ask before you move forward, are we being recorded?
We are. I don't know what happened to the recording for the last meeting, but it did not come out. So this time I'm trying to record it to the cloud. And we can ask Bob DeToma or GCTV to start it when the meeting is called to order. You may do that automatically. I don't know.
Okay. So good evening. This open meeting of the Grafton Public Library Trustees is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings. As such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted on the town's website at www.grafton-ma.gov, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely as long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will feature public comment. For this meeting, Grafton Public Board of Library Trustees is convening by Zoom conference as posted on the town's website, identifying how the public may join. Zoom meetings, please note that this meeting is being recorded and that some attendees are participating by video conference. Accordingly, please be aware that other folks may be able to see you and that take care not to share screen of your computer. Anything that you broadcast may be captured by the recording. All supporting materials that have been provided members of this body are available on the town's website unless otherwise noted. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda unless the chair notes otherwise. We are now turning to the first item on the agenda. Before we do so, permit me to cover some ground rules for the effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I, the chair, will introduce each speaker on the agenda. After they conclude their remarks, the chair will go down the line of members, inviting each by name to provide any comment, questions, or motions. Please hold until your name is called. Further, please remember to mute your phone or computer when you're not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you to state your name before speaking. If members wish to engage in colloquy with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. For items with public comment, after members have spoken, the chair will afford public comment as follows. The chair will first read public comments questions received in advance of the meeting, followed by real-time board and/or applicant responses. Public comments during the meeting will be conducted through the chat feature in Zoom. The chair will read real-time comments, questions typed by computer participants in the chat feature, followed by real-time board responses. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by roll call vote. Very good. I guess we're ready to get started with the agenda. Beth, would you mind sharing the agenda on your screen? Thank you.
Are you able to see it?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to invite members to comment on the minutes. If you have any questions or comments that you haven't sent over to Beth Patch over email, please feel free to comment now.
Beth and I both reviewed the minutes.
Mhm.
It's very hard to take minutes from this vantage point. So I become super vigilant on it. But Beth did review them after I wrote them, and then I reviewed them again. I don't know, because of such short time, whether you were able to review them. But I did send you the minutes from earlier this month regarding our new member, and I haven't received any feedback.
Regarding our new member. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. So I read the June minutes. So I'd like to invite Doug Bowman. Any questions, comments, able to review them?
The one about the new member, that was the really short one. It was like a 1 or 2 pager. Yeah, I mean, that one I didn't think needed any comments because it was pretty basic. The June ones I only glanced at and I didn't see any issues.
Okay. Thank you, Doug. Marty?
I only have a question, is that the June minutes reflect that we did not have the May minutes to review. And I don't know that I've seen the May minutes yet.
I will send them to you.
Have we voted on them?
We have not voted on them, and I need to put them before Beth.
Okay, is it appropriate to vote on June minutes before we voted on May minutes?
Yes, because they've been presented, and it will be okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Marty. Daniela?
I have no updates or corrections for the minutes. They seem fine to me. Thank you.
Okay, very good. So do I have a motion to accept the minutes from the June meeting?
I move that we accept the minutes from the June meeting. This is Daniela Sharma.
Doug seconds.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Aaron Vandestein?
Marty Essner, aye.
Doug Bowman, aye.
Daniela Sharma, aye.
Very good. Thank you all.
June
Now,
meeting, there were 2.
say again?
There were 2 June meetings with minutes to approve, so which was
Oh.
it?
Actually,
Yes.
You can do both.
there was a June meeting, and then there was a July first week meeting regarding the new member.
Yes, this is right. This was for the June minutes. Thank you for clarifying. Can I get a motion then to approve the July minutes for the special meeting?
I move that we approve these special meeting of July minutes.
Do I have a second?
I second that we approve the special meeting in July, the minutes of the special meeting in July. It's Daniela.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Aaron Vandestein?
Aye, Martin Essner.
Aye, Doug Bowman.
And I, Daniela Sharma.
Very good. Thank you. So we'll wait to vote on the May minutes after Beth gets a chance to review them, and they're sent for our approval. Very good. On to the review of bills. Beth Galloway.
So I forwarded a lot of material this morning. One of those were the last 2 warrants for FY20 before we finished encumbering any monies. And I think the first 2 warrants for FY21. So it's, I think, 4 different bill sets, maybe 3. So I'm looking for approval on bills that I have signed off on for FY20 and FY21 since our previous meeting, June 24th.
Okay. Do I have a motion to accept the bills that Beth has posted since the last meeting?
I make a motion to accept the bills from the last meeting.
Okay, a second.
I will second the motion to accept the bills from the last meeting.
Very good. All in favor? Aye, Aaron Vandenstein.
I, Daniela Sharma.
Aye, Doug Bowman.
I'm Martin Essner.
Very good. Thank you.
So I do not have new bills tonight because we just finished getting all of our purchase orders that we rolled over accepted and all of the encumbrances accepted. So I did include those lists, but we haven't put together the warrant yet because those just got approved today from the accounting department. So I'll probably have them next week. And I'll vote on them in August.
So those are those 3 FY21 warrants that you included?
So, yeah, so I think, I thought they were, it was like warrant 3 and warrant 4, which were both dated July and which were bills from purchases made after July 1st or later. And then we also had invoices rolling in after June 30th for material we purchased prior to July 1st. So I think that there were 4 total, but then what happens is because the deadline to turn in all those FY20 bills is like July 17th, but sometimes things still come in, or we have this unique situation where the town pays for some of our communications bill, our phone bill, and some of our energy bill. So I might not know until, the very end of this month that I had further expenses for FY20. So it's this sort of complicated process of Eileen and I working with the accounting department to make sure that we have all of those invoices paid for in the right fiscal year, because you can't pay the bill in the wrong year. We have to also be very careful that we're not going over budget. So I think that I sent 2 from FY20 and 2 from FY21. But I do have another batch of FY20 that's in the final encumbrances that closes out the year coming probably next week. It's complicated. We only do it once a year, and Eileen and I are like, do we encumber POs, or is that money already set aside and we do the wrong thing and then have to be re-educated? No, we're not over budget. I have one bill that I would like help paying, but.
Okay. Do we have an idea of the expenditures up until this point? Document where you have the percentages of the budget spent?
Yeah, I didn't send that because I actually got the full report from the accounting department through June 30th. So that was the one that showed like a $12,000 PO, and it looked like as of June 30th, there was about $27,000 left total for staff. And so we were a little under in staffing. We were still a little under in equipment. We didn't use a lot of building and maintenance money. But again, I have all these encumbrances that totaled out that remaining $27,000. So it was that spreadsheet that showed all the different charts of accounts and personnel, expenses, and equipment. Do you want me to call it up?
Yeah, if you have it, please.
The library funds report, it was actually run the 27th, even though it said, but it covered through June 30th. This one, nope. It's the revolving accounts. Oh, this one. Might have to go dig in my email.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't think I have it handy. Can you see my screen right now that I stopped sharing?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's getting. I don't know if on the recording it shows me going into my Gmail account to try and find it.
Nope. We're watching you in your really awesome workspace thing.
Yeah.
I think this might be it. Hang on. Thanks for your patience. And it's like opening everything in a different browser. So, okay, I found it. Let me go back to share my screen. And I apologize. I thought that I attached it, so if I didn't, I can send it out. So this shows as of for the whole year, July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020, which is FY20. The percentages are over here in the corner, and this is direct from the accounting office. So we keep our own spreadsheet, and we're,
Yes.
we're usually neck and neck and fairly close.
Can I make a point of personal preference?
Yeah.
I have a black box that's showing up when you're sharing the screen. Is anybody else getting that?
Yeah, it's on the left now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that, how's that?
That's the Zoom thing. Yeah, you have to
It's
move it
Yeah.
out of the way.
Oh,
Is that any
okay.
better?
Yeah, now it's pretty much off the screen. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for speaking up. So wages, we spent 96.77% out of 100% of the money allocated to pay for library personnel in FY20. We went over in energy. Our energy costs were more. Part of it is the air conditioning that we were running last summer into early fall. Sewer, I think budgeted more money, but the water bills were higher than we expected, but other accounts were low. So again, some were over, some were under. We spent a lot of money on ebooks. So we went over in the book budget, but we were under in programming, we were under in dues, we were under in equipment. So, we had, as I said, we finished out with $27,000 left to spend as of June 30th, but then as all those encumbrances for additional purchases came in, it's pretty much balancing out. I have one Midwest tape invoice, I think that's $454 that I would be over budget for, that I would like to pay out of the gift account. And I'll have a new report once they finish rolling over all those encumbrances and pay out the last warrant of FY20.
Okay. Any questions on the budget up to June 30th? Very good. Yeah, the gift account, I think we give you access to that to pay as you see fit. So I don't think we need to vote on that.
Okay, I thought that we had decided that you were supposed to review purchases, unless it was for stuff. So yeah, normally I wouldn't be buying library material out of gift money. We have, I think that was that other chart of accounts. I think there's $16,000 in the gift account, which is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we just wanted to make sure that we would review them,
Yeah,
but not that we need to vote on anything,
Right.
right? I think we're
Yeah,
all
you'll vote by signing off on the bills or voting on my signing off on them. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
That's the plan. And then there's some other things that we would have been over. We're going to go to revolving accounts for. So we can buy new materials out of lost and replacement. And the theory is sort of whatever it was we lost, we probably would have been doing an exact copy replacement. We also have some revolving account money from faxing and printing fees that we can use to pay for toner and other office supplies to do our jobs.
Okay, excellent. I saw Doug Bowman.
Yeah, so I just wanted to confirm. So you're talking about the gift money from the email that you want to pay off one of the tape invoices. And that's just basically because that line item in the budget was maxed out. And so you're looking at elsewhere.
It would have put the total budget over by a little bit less than the amount of the invoice. So I decided to, we'll turn over a couple $100 back to the general fund, which is much better, I have to say, than I did last year. I think we turned over several $1,000s to the general fund. So I kept much better on top of it this year.
Very good. Thank you, Beth. Any further comments from any members of the board? Very good. Could you put the agenda up, please?
No, hang on. So if I just hop over to the web browser, then it doesn't necessarily go to the last page I was looking at. So, one moment. There it goes.
Okay. So I'd like to welcome our new library trustee, Stephanie Teixeira, or Teixeira. She pronounces it both ways. But obviously defer to her the way she'd like to be addressed. So she will be filling the vacancy left by Martina Art. And the term expires in May 2021 at the next election, as of such time that she will need to run for the seat. So join me in welcoming Stephanie. She couldn't be here with us tonight. She had a conflict because we ended up having to move the meeting a week later. So we'll all get to meet her in due time, I'm sure. Very good. Beth, the MPLCP building program grant.
So Andy sent me an up-to-date report. Site drainage is complete. It's all the pipes for the structure. Walls are being constructed at the detention pond. A third underground storage tank was discovered 8 feet off of Upton Street adjacent to a telephone pole. It was removed, and any impact to the soil around it was tested and also removed. We found buried brick and an unmarked rain leader. I'm not sure what that is. It runs to a dry well under the lawn. That'll be replaced by perimeter drains in August when that work is done. There's no more site excavation, so we're finally done with the digging and the hauling. So that's significant. The remainder of the footings and foundations have been poured, and the concrete testing has occurred with every single pour. Results have been very good. The remainder of the steel was delivered at the very end of this month, and we're expecting it to be completed Friday the 31st. They're actually expecting it to be done on Thursday, which is why they said that if we wanted to have a traditional topping off ceremony where we pick the highest point of the highest beam, and they put a little evergreen tree on the top, and it's this sort of ceremonial thing because it's a significant achievement to be finished with the steel work. So we have scheduled that rather last minute, but it sort of depended on the crews for noon tomorrow, Thursday the 30th. And then over the next 2 weeks, they'll work on connecting everything, deck and stud work. They've done a bunch of work on the north gable end where there is some crumbling at the existing building, and they matched the new bricks in the mortar really well. So this is the historical restoration piece. Under slab plumbing is 95% complete. They ran the TEL data underground and are about to start the under slab electrical work. So lots of things going on. We had a couple of other change orders. Our contingency as of today is $725,429. Come down a little bit.
Can I just repeat?
That might be an error. It was. Let me check with Andy on that because it was 92,000.
Yes.
So, I don't know which one's the typo.
So
It was 72. Sorry. I'm just reading the report that he sent to me an hour ago.
So I just want to confirm that you said $72,025. No.
Yeah. He's emailed me at $725,000, and that can't be right because it was $92,000 last month.
So we need to confirm that for the record.
I will confirm it with him as soon as I can.
Okay.
Sorry. He just, like I said, he just sent this an hour ago. Works on schedule. COVID-19 protocols have been set up and followed. They've done quality control at every step of the way. And we hope that some of you will be able to join us at noon tomorrow for that topping off. Sorry for my error.
Well, you're just reading what was presented to you, so.
And I was in another meeting before this with him. So.
Okay. If it pours tomorrow, I guess maybe how has the construction been affected by maybe the elements? If it happened to rain, I mean, they're not really doing more excavation work, so they'll probably work right through the rain and even do the topping off ceremony if it rains, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring an umbrella.
Yeah.
Wear your mask.
Yeah. Very good. Well, I intend to come along. Is it okay to bring family members as well?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Stick with your unit, socially distanced, masks,
Very good.
protocol.
Okay. Thank you.
The press
no-
is coming and GCTV will be filming.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I have no further comment. Doug Bowman, questions, comments?
My only comment is the picture behind me was taken this afternoon.
Yeah, I was going to ask when you took it, but that looks fantastic.
Yeah, so you can see the steels actually connecting the far piece of the building on the far left to the old building on the right.
Oh, wow. I was wondering how they were going to do that, but looks like they did it. Because it was really two structures for the longest time, and it didn't look much like they could connect them, but somehow they measured properly, and there it is. Cool. Thank you, Doug, for sharing. Okay, Marty, any comment, questions for Beth?
No, I don't have any questions or comments. Thank you.
Very good. Daniela,
None at this time, no.
thank you very much. Moving on. Next on the agenda, I have Grafton Public Library Capital Campaign update from Dana. She's excused tonight. She sent me an update, but I think it's probably best that I don't represent the Library Capital Campaign. Doug, is there an update from your perspective that you could provide us?
Sorry, I'm just unmuting myself. Yeah, we had a meeting last week. We reviewed, I gave a treasurer's report giving an update on, the bank balance. We reviewed the brochures. We have all the brochures printed and stuff, and reviewing the donor list. So I think we're finally, ramping up to get started and speaking to individual donors. Probably, I think we have some scheduled either later this week or early next week. So starting to get active.
Thank you, Doug. The brochure looks fantastic. Even my kids had a nice time looking at all the different color-coded aspects of it to kind of point out the different features in the library. So it was well received by old and young. So nice work on that. Okay, very good. Thank you, Doug. Any questions, comments, Marty? Okay.
No, I don't.
Okay, very good. Thanks, Marty. Daniela? Excellent. Thank you, Doug, for that update. Next, I think, is IT update. Beth?
So as staff have started to come back, one of the guidelines is that we're supposed to have individual workstations for all of our staff members, which means a complete setup with a receipt printer, a scanner. It looks like Mark is saying good night, so thank you for joining us. You're welcome to stay and submit questions through chat. I don't know if that was clear. And citizen comments usually at the end, Mark. But thanks for coming. So I asked if I could use some of that CARES Act money, the COVID-19 funding, to set up some of those stations. I have enough computers because we have public laptops and desktops to give everybody their own workstations, and we do have enough space for staff to spread out to make it work. But I did just order 4 receipt printers, and I'm gonna have to ask IT to help get it set up. Staff computers are really on their last legs. They were due for an upgrade this year in the anticipation that we would be moving into our new building and buying new computers. So we are kind of limping along with some older technology. We had an issue with, we must have lost power or something, and I think a breaker got flipped. And IT to the rescue. It happened to be on a Wednesday, and he was able to come down and just flip the power back on to get some staff computers up and running. So they continue to be responsive. I'm recording on my new laptop, which is set up and accesses shares and has a very nice display and lots of memory and is a bit faster than the old one. So that's all set. He was able to, our copier for some reason, I think the plug died where it was, and we had to switch to a different plug, and it stopped with the ability to scan and email a file. He fixed that for us. So we just do a C-click fix. If he can fix it remotely, he does, but he's got leave to come back on site with, with notice, and wears his mask, helps out as needed. Making it work.
Excellent. Thank you, Beth. How many workstations are needed then at any given time? Because you have to figure that even if you have 6 employees working at the same time, I'm just throwing out a number, if different employees come in, those other employees are required to have a different computer. Is that right?
They're not supposed to be shared workstations. Yeah.
Okay.
And we are following all the disinfectant and sanitizing protocols.
Mhm.
But it's still it's not the recommended practice. So it does not feel right to me to do that, or to have to also pick and choose, who gets to share and who gets their own. Some people do have designated desk space and even office space. And those are people who are still working off site. So yeah, and then depending on who's scheduled for every given day, like we've got the sanctuary where we set up 3 circulation computers, a laptop, kind of perpendicular back to back. And the idea is if somebody's sitting here, that's the other person is on the opposite schedule. So they're not actually sitting that close to each other. I'm trying to spread out as much as we can. So I'm trying to avoid buying any computers, but to have the peripherals, I think is helpful. And we would have needed them for the new building anyway, so.
Which peripherals?
The individual receipt printers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so like if I'm in my office, I'm not using a CERT computer. Yeah, I'm working on the floor right now. So I'm pulling holds for patrons and pulling things for delivery and checking items out, and I have to print a receipt or I have to print the hold slip. So I'm printing to the Xerox at the moment, but it's kind of a waste of paper. Just holding it in half. Because I don't want to I don't really need my own receipt printer, or I won't, hopefully in the future. I'm also just going to self-check. I can use self-check to check out to a patron if they don't have any issues with their card and print a receipt from there. And then just wipe down self-check. Yeah, but I definitely need more printers.
Yeah. Well, I'm very interested to kind of see how, learn what your operations are like. But thank you for the IT update. Next on the agenda, Friends update and membership. I'm not sure why we've combined those together, or maybe it's because becoming members of the Friends organization. Perhaps that's why it's written that way. Is that right, Beth Patch?
Say your question again, please, again. Because I'm not seeing the.
Let me share it again.
Yep. So the question is Friends update and membership.
I think that may be from the past and a goal for them to increase their membership. Okay. But it can be just Friends update if you would like.
Yep. So I think it's probably good to leave it that way, at least for the moment. I'm okay with, for Stephanie's benefit at least, just to remind her of the relationship that we have with the Friends organization, that it's mutually beneficial. So as they support the library, we also need to show that we support them too and be members of the Friends organization as well. So I don't have a Friends update otherwise. I'm not sure if, I know that Karen's been attending a lot of the meetings and using her Zoom account, and she's not here tonight. Galloway, did you have the opportunity to meet with them?
So they last met in June, but they have a program that they launched that's kind of been ongoing, which is they planned a community read with a diversity equality and inclusion theme and have asked an expert on the subject to do a Zoom style conversation Thursday, August 20th. On my director's report, I've got the slide for it. I also emailed a handout that says community read, and it's got an explanation. So their idea is there's some really great books. Here's a list. On our website, you can actually see a link to every version, ebook, e-audio, if it's in Hoopla, if it's digital, if it's through our catalog. And some of these are available all the time. So you can pick and choose if you want to read The Hate U Give or How to Be an Anti-Racist or whatever is on the list. And then, you know, whatever you've read, come and listen to the lecture, share your thoughts. And it's sort of culminating, I think that's their annual meeting or near their annual meeting, maybe the day before the annual meeting. So they have that going on. They also, Stop and Shop picked them again to be their fundraising recipient with their reusable shopping bags. So even if stores locally are still not allowing you to bring in your own bag, remember that you can have them in your car. When you go through the checkout line, just ask them to stock everything back into your cart, and then you can load them into your reusable shopping bags at your vehicle. I think just from self-check or asking the cashier, you say that you want to donate the $2 or $3 cost to buy a bag, and then the friends receive some profit from that. Unfortunately, it was just for the month of July. I don't know what kind of publicity they did around it, but for the next 2 days, you can buy a reusable shopping bag, and it benefits the friends. And then I think, as I said, the annual meeting, I think, is Friday night, the 21st, probably through Zoom. 21st of August, yeah.
Okay. Do I have any volunteers who'd like to attend the Friends meeting in August? It would likely be virtual. If you haven't had the opportunity to join the Friends at one of their meetings, it's an opportunity to get your face out there and get to know their faces, because a lot of the times I don't always remember who's on the board, and sometimes their board members are kind of scarce at times too. So just to make sure that we're making our presence known and letting them know that there's an open door of communication, I want to make sure that we have somebody visit with friends as well. Great.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been there, so I'll join the next one.
So I saw Daniela's hand as well. I'm not sure how often you've been to the meetings, Daniela, have you?
No, so this would be, I think, a good way to go first, especially if it's virtual, no problem whatsoever. It may be a great time to, you know, join and meet everybody. And they can meet me. So I think it's a perfect opportunity.
Okay.
When do they normally meet, please? Aaron, when do they normally meet? What's their schedule?
Oh, I think it's hit or miss. I think it's usually like the first Tuesday of each month. Obviously not the first Tuesday this time.
Oh, all right. Well, I would be happy another time. It would be easier if I knew ahead of time, but we'll work it out.
Well, there's definitely their event on the 20th, which I think everybody could attend, and then their annual meeting is the 21st, which is also, I think, an open meeting. I know they don't want to be overwhelmed by trustees showing up or taking over their meeting, which is why we usually just send one person. And I don't know if they are meeting the beginning of August to do some planning around these other two things that they have coming up at the end of the month. You could reach out to Carrie, those of you who want to attend.
The event on the 20th, as I recall, I saw the notice, is regarding people who have read books recently having to do with racial issues, contemporary racial issues. Okay.
Can you share that date one more time of the next Friends meeting?
Yeah, so there's their event. It's 7:30 on Thursday, August 20th, which is a Zoom meeting and discussion. And then I believe their annual meeting is the next night, Friday the 21st. I think also 7:30.
Oh, you said that's the annual meeting. So does that open to
Yeah,
Friends members?
yeah, because they're going to vote in their new slate of officers.
Yeah. So that's not their board meeting, but their board meeting would be probably the one that Daniela would want to go to, would be probably the first Tuesday of the month. I can reach out to Carrie, and I'll CC you, Daniela, and just let her know that you're interested in meeting the Friends board.
Okay.
But all of us are, if you're a Friends member, then you're invited to their annual meeting, which is on the Friday the 21st. And it's too bad we can't all meet in person, but please try to attend that meeting because they do elect a new leadership, and we just want to be there to support them. Thank you, Beth. Okay. Landscape garden, Beth Patch.
Well,
You're on mute.
can you hear me?
Yes. Not anymore. There we go. Oh,
I picked about, I would say, 10 cucumbers and shared them around. I didn't even know they were under there. Did you get one, Beth?
Yummy.
Okay, so,
Those tomatoes.
oh, good. So our raised bed is doing really well. And so our second year herbs. And last weekend I had planned to clean up the front of the building, but I worked inside instead. So I'm hoping to do that this weekend. And so it'll look real sharp and nice for the library. And other than that, we're just waiting for some things to come along.
okay. You cut out again. Were you finishing a sentence? Things to come along?
Yeah, I'm just, we're just waiting for the tomatoes, and I see that the eggplants are doing great, but I see little fruit on them. We didn't do a lot of variety of things this year, but we do have some climbers on the trellis, and we have some beans. So if you see them running around, just push them up onto the trellis. So, and Susan Lido turns the water on and I turn it off. So we're doing okay.
Excellent. I think I saw in the minutes last month about that there was a bit of poison ivy in the parking lot. Do you know if that was taken care of?
I don't. I know this is a priority, and if it isn't taken care of, we will take care of it this week.
I was waiting for a photo so I could do a C-click fix.
I did.
Send it to me.
I did send it, but I'll send it again.
Okay, I'll look for it.
Very good. Thank you, Beth. Okay. Next on the agenda, noise complaints. Any rabble rousers in the parking lot making noise?
Now the air conditioners are a little loud, but
Mhm. Okay.
there were, actually just, an email just popped up from that Heidi forwarded. So there were squeals of delight and exclamatory remarks from two teenage girls picking up their programs to go that Allison's been working on. But they were not loud enough for us to hear them in the building. I could see the smiles as they were getting into the car though.
Wow.
Good noise.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know she was doing programs to go. Okay, very good. Any space issues? I guess you're giving each other lots of space, right?
Only when we're, passing each other in the rather narrow hallway.
Yep.
Trying to keep our distance.
Okay, very good. All right, I didn't give any opportunity for any of the other members to speak up. Any questions, comments on the last few items? Nope. Okay, very good. Lighting in the parking lot after dark. I think I read in the last month's minutes. Is that a light behind you?
It's just the daylight is bright. There's glare.
Uh-huh.
It's the
Okay.
sky.
Okay.
No,
Um,
not dark.
yeah, I'm not sure that the getting a light installed on the corner of the building, the back left corner is really a priority at the moment. So if we can all agree that this is probably something we can just take off the agenda, as long as the light bulb is fixed on the corner leading up to the door, I think it is. I think we can take it off the agenda. Daniela, questions, comments?
No, I agree. I think this issue has been dealt with so far. So unless something drastic changes, I'm good with it off the agenda.
Marty?
I'm satisfied with that.
Okay, very good. Doug?
Yeah, yes.
Very good. About the parking lot expansion, I know, sorry, I'm waiting for Doug because I know this is a question for him. This is the parking lot.
Sorry, I'm
It's
talking to
okay.
my dog over here because she's sitting at the door waiting to go out. So I'm trying to get my kid to take her out.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay. It looked like you were looking up at your dog. You're probably talking to yourself.
Well, I was carrying my laptop around. So
Yeah.
the parking lot expansion, I have no update. I think Tim is probably just busy, but I will ping him again. I don't know if you, Beth, if you've talked to him at all in this whole COVID expansion and opening plan about the parking lot.
Question was more, what's our plan to move into phase 2, which is where we could have patrons come in, but only as far as the circulation desk. So, and my plan in that case would be to move the circulation desks to basically box in the lobby. So literally there's one person or family unit coming in to grab their own items, self-check their own items, and now we're not worrying about the elements and weather and dark because, you know, fall is coming. And then our phase 3 would be, we would actually have patrons parking and coming in up to 40% capacity. I'm still not clear on how we can do that and maintain the required social distancing. So I don't know that parking is going to be a huge issue. And even with, so we did, it's been 2 weeks now that we've been doing curbside. I did notice somebody pull around the wrong way in the parking lot today to hop out and go to the porch and get their item, but it was just them and there were no accidents. We had a few people parking to hop on the Wi-Fi, but we've done 280 requests, completed requests for people getting their materials, and we haven't hit capacity. No, you know, people have been respectful. Folks who can't climb upstairs, we're telling them just pull up where it says no parking right by the book drop. We'll leave your item on the bench. So unless we get significant volume increases, I think we're okay for now. And we do still have the option to park at the former Trek Stop location for staff. If turns out that we need to do that in the fall before snow hits, say, to free up some spaces in the lot. But people, it's become an errand now, right? They're coming and going. They're mostly not lingering unless they need wireless. And that's like 2 or 3 people a day. I think we're okay.
Great.
Okay. Maybe we'll table this one so that we don't need to discuss it at every meeting until we feel that it's something we want to bring up again. So Beth Patch, if you could note just to table that one.
I will.
Thank you. Great. Now on to new business, procedures for reopening the library.
Yeah, so we're in phase 1, stage 2, or step 2, I forget what it's called. The governor did not designate any further breakdown for phase 2 for public libraries. Simply, you can open and people can go no further than your circulation desk. So I would like to do that like around Labor Day. I still don't have full staff coming back for various absolutely valid reasons, whether it's their own immune system, somebody they live with, have to quarantine, out on medical leave, have small children at home, or they can do their job, including providing virtual programming, reference, social media support, patron support, all of that remotely. So I will say that there's 2 or 3 people all day on a shift, and we are busy from start to finish, and I could use double the staff to be here checking materials out and moving those requests along much more quickly. So I don't know at what point we say, you have to come back, I need you. Or at what point the governor, you guys, the select board says, no, you're opening. I am watching numbers climb up again in Massachusetts, and it's very concerning. So we continue to strive for caution and safety, but I would like to go to phase 2 right after Labor Day with letting people into the lobby to do their own self-check, to pick up their own holds. At that point, we still wouldn't be doing computers. We wouldn't be doing any in-person programming. We wouldn't be doing notarization, test proctoring, or passports. That would come possibly by appointment at the start of phase 3 for us, which would be sometime in the fall. I would say 5 weeks after Labor Day. Longer if the numbers are bad, shorter if the numbers look good and we're in a rhythm. That would be my preference and suggestion. And all of this is documented, and you have links to access those different, the plans do keep changing. Keep trying to refine it, and the documents are shared, so staff have impact, the ability to impact the decision making as well. I have a meeting every other week with other local library directors. We're ahead of some, we're behind others, so there's no lockstep in the state of Massachusetts because every community is so different. So we're really not like basing decisions on, well, is Shrewsbury open or did Douglas open and what are they doing? We're doing what works for our own individual staff and town and supplies.
I have a question. I remember when we were talking about the phase and the changing of the phase, and I know we're in phase 1, step 2B, whatever we want to call it. And I think I remember that we were going to have a 5-week check-in to see the number of cases to help determine if we should go to the next numbered phase, like phase 2. Has it been, how many weeks has it been, and what data are we using, I guess the official numbers trend, to see if we can actually go to phase 2, correct?
Yeah, so I think it's been it feels like about 100 weeks. So staff came back June 15th, and that was our phase 1, step 1, for stage 1. And then we started curbside 1, 2, 3, I think we did 4 weeks later. We started curbside on July 13th, and here we are at the 29th. We've been doing curbside for just 2 weeks. So 3 more weeks of curbside and evaluating curbside puts us at August 10th.
Okay.
But one issue though, like, again, I have staff who are out, but also staff taking vacation. So it's sort of a natural break to sort of push it into the fall, or not quite fall, but into September.
Coincidentally, that also may be right around the time that Grafton Public Schools make some final announcements about teachers and things like that. So it's going to be a very interesting time.
Thank you, Daniela. Any further comment before I allow Doug to speak? No, very good. Thanks. Go ahead, Doug.
2 questions. Do you see the curbside a limitation versus just opening up like an inside corridor? Because it seems like you can open up an inside corridor relatively safe, right? Having people just go in, pick up something and leave. But I'm not sure if that really increases the efficiencies that much, or do you think it does?
Well, one thing it would do, we would be able to turn on the automatic notifications. So right now we have to call every single person for every single item that comes in. And then when they don't return our call, we have to make a second call or an email, and we have to run around and like, are their books already in a bag? Are they all on the shelf? Are they now on a cart waiting to be called? Like I'm not able personally to sit at my desk and do any other work at all. Like when I'm here, I'm usually here from 10 to 4. And I have 15 minutes to eat lunch, and I am just going through the delivery, the whole split shelf, checking in the materials that have been sitting there for 4 days. And there's 2 other people helping with that, and there's no possibility to do any other work. So I'm squeezing in, you know, I answered a reference question today that was a watcher's advisory. I like Doc Martin. What else can I watch that's a British document, you know, British TV series? So I asked the staff for feedback. It took me a week to formulate the response to the patrons, send the links, and do that follow-up. And not every reference question is that involved, but we're usually much speedier with everything from notification of material to serving the public, and it's really delayed because of the impact of curbside. So once we go to that in lobby, we turn on all the automatic notifications again, and people don't have to call and make an appointment anymore. We're just open a set number of hours. It's so much more efficient. We're just open a set number of hours. They come at their convenience within the time frame. There's a staff member available. with a mask behind a plexiglass barrier to help if there's an issue with the card. Person wants to, you know, get materials from behind the stacks. They wouldn't be wandering the stacks, but staff have access and can bring things to them. You can do a reference or reader's advisory question right there in the moment. And we have time to be having a closer eye, certainly. I mean, right now things are out on the porch. I don't have a camera. We're not sitting out there and watching the bags, and the items are checked out, and we are trusting our public to not run away with each other's material. So we have, again, more control and oversight too, but also the ability to be doing our work and interruptible and available if people need us once we go to that. And just come in and pick it up yourself, check out your own items, and you're good to go.
Yeah, so that seems like that's going to be a
Relief.
great step forward, both for the staff and for the public.
Yeah, it also, I will say though, it is anxiety producing though, because now we're going back in close proximity with people who we don't know, like we know each other. We know we're all wearing masks. We know we're all social distancing. We know we're all practically quarantining because we're taking this really seriously. And that's not the case with everybody that we come, even, you know, that we come into contact. So it just sort of increases the potential for exposure, and it's really anxiety producing for staff. And I'm concerned that people said, yeah, I'll come in. If long as I don't have to work with the public, then what happens when they say, well, you're going to the public model. I can't. I don't want to expose myself at that point.
Can I ask a question, please?
And then one other second real quick question. Is CW Mars fully up and running? Like you can order books?
Yep.
And okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything's slower because we're quarantining for 4 days.
Can I ask a question, please?
Yeah.
I said corridor and you said lobby.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference unless he's meaning lobby.
So I want to move the children's circulation desk to outside of my office at the other end of the hallway. So again, one person or family comes into the lobby. There's a circulation desk at the sanctuary. There's a circulation desk at the corridor. You can get to the hold shelves. The self-check, we'll put both self-check machines there, and there will be a public bathroom, which we won't be encouraging people to use. And that's it. And it's single entrance and exit.
So I understand yours because we've discussed it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I understand Doug's question. I don't think there's many librarians who would encourage corridor service right now or stack service. And the reason I say this is because I work in a hospital and the expectation is that everybody will follow the rules. We are letting people into the library, and I'm speaking as a patron and as an employee. We are letting people into the library that I know personally are not wearing masks, do not believe in this. And so I don't want to see them in the corridor or the stacks. I would like to serve them. I love being a librarian, but I'm just I don't understand corridor versus lobby.
So what I meant was lobby, where someone could order on CW Mars. They see that it's ready. They walk into the lobby, they pick up the book, and they walk out. That's all I was referring to, not browsing stacks or anything like that. I wasn't even thinking that you would go up to someone and say, hey, can you go get me this book? I was just thinking of a delivery pickup service.
You were scaring me.
Sorry if I was not clear.
Yeah, so one thing we discourage with curbside is like when you show up, if you don't, because some people are just saying, give me 5 books for my 3-year-old, right? And if you don't like what you get, that's okay. Just throw them back in the book drop, but you can't make an immediate request and wait for us to pull things. So we'll have the ability to do that kind of thing, you know? But, and then anything somebody handles though, that's gonna go in quarantine. It's not going back on the shelf.
Thank you for the comments and questions, and thank you, Beth, for sharing that with us. I know we haven't heard from Marty yet. Do you have any question, comments?
Well, I just want to compliment Beth on very significant effort you're putting into making this work under incredibly difficult circumstances. Yeah, I've spoken before. I'm very conservative on the issue. And I think Daniela talked about the phasing and what we were supposed to be, some objective criteria that we were supposed to be looking at. And I think one of the things was, well, what's been happening on a rolling 7-day average, and as a bizarre application I've gotten into, I'm keeping my own spreadsheet on the growth, the growth rates, both nationally and in Massachusetts. And while Massachusetts numbers are low, they're terrific, but they're growing. And I don't know what that means. I'm very concerned about when school starts, what it means. So I don't know where we're going to go with the Beth. I think, and I want to tell you that I support your going slowly on this. And that's my comment.
Please know that not every librarian in the nation has that sentiment behind him or her or them. And it means a lot to me that I don't feel like I have to fight and advocate for what I think is the right, safe, healthy thing to do for our staff and for our public. Thank you for your support.
Yeah, I don't see staff. If I used to be an employer, I'm not an employer anymore, but I would not want my employees to be canaries in a coal mine. And that's unfortunately how I see it. That I don't mean that to be cynical. I know we're being recorded. I have no problems. I will answer to anyone who wants to ask me about it. You have to balance risks in this stuff. And when you have one set of risks that's not measurable, that becomes a very difficult balancing process. So, as I said, you have my support.
Thank you, Marty. Well said. I appreciate that. And I see that Beth does too, so thank you. But my question for you, Beth, is it seems like filling all these orders with limited staff can be very stressful. And I can speak to that in a very small way because I started to use library services again just through CW Mars. And, you know, I don't know where my items are yet. Now that I understand the situation in the library, I can understand that, you guys are running around trying to fill these orders. So I guess my question for you, Beth, is do you feel that you have enough staffing support in order to do this and you're not taking on too much on your own?
I'm taking Monday and Tuesday off next week.
Mhm.
So we'll see how they do. But it would be one thing too if patrons were calling and screaming and saying, "What do you mean you can't find my book?" And I put that on hold. Why didn't you pull it? That's not happening. Like, we have very patient people. And if so, I have a card of things from Saturday and Monday and Tuesday that we still have to make some phone call, connect with people on to find out when they're coming. And some of them go in and look at their library record and they can see it's available. So they're proactively calling. So if people watching at home, proactively call and, we'll get the items to you instead of waiting to hear from us.
Oh, really? So if the items available, the CW Mars catalog at the Grafton Public Library, it says, one of one item available, that's to call.
Yeah, especially if you want it right away. So what happens is when you put a hold on an item that we own that's on our shelf, if you just do a regular hold, the first hold option, then it gets thrown out to the pull list system. So whichever library pulls the list of requests that owns the item, they're going to grab it, check it in, and put it in a van to delivery. And then we might, I didn't do a pull list today. We might not get to it till 10 a.m. But if someone is pulling it in Worcester at 8:30 and it's on their shelf too, Worcester's going to get that request. So you actually have to go into the item, click until you can't go any further, do a copy hold, and then it's going to be our local item. We still might not pull our pull list. Again, I didn't do one today. We might not get to it till tomorrow morning. But if you call between 10 and 4, generally someone will either answer the phone or call you back within an hour. And we'll pull your item and can have it available for that next pickup slot, whether that's this afternoon or the next morning.
Yeah, so that kind of echoes, I guess, what Tim said then about CW Mars operating, but you said deliveries also happening too.
Yeah.
That's, wow, I had no idea.
Yeah. Delivery every day. It started I think it started the 29th. Might have started the end of June.
And so are all libraries required to participate?
They're not required, so they can enter in on their own terms. They opened it up to everybody July 20th. So that was when, so we were doing local pull lists like for 2 weeks. And now we're pulling and sending materials out to other libraries, but there are still a few that either haven't opened or, you know, for whatever reason, they're not accepting delivery yet. So that means when we check in an item, like we have this pull list, these are going to all these other libraries. When we check it in, we have to take a look at a different list to make sure that library who it thinks it's going to is actually open and accepting delivery. And there's more every day. Most libraries in CW Mars Network are, you know, fully open for delivery. And even Comcat is up and running, which is the, you know, interlibrary loan from colleges from other states. So it's just taking a little bit longer for things to get places because we may be quarantining on both ends or even in between.
Yeah, so do you feel the need to quarantine the things that are coming in?
Yes. So when delivery shows up, the bin sits for 4 days. We were doing 3 because IMLS research said that those plastic book jackets on hardcovers, regular paper, and the plastic cases that all of our media is in, virus is detectable up until about 72 hours, and then it's not discernible anymore. And then they were doing further studies, and they're doing even more studies. So then the next round of research, they focused on board books, glossy magazines, and picture books, and found the virus lingers on that glossy paper for an extra 24 hours. So now we're just doing 96 hours for everything and hoping there isn't going to be another new report saying something else or something longer. We do have this huge library of things. I don't have research yet or advice on if someone has a sewing machine and someone else wants it, how long should that be quarantined for? The telescope. We were going to start a cake pan collection. That's on hold. You know, we have all of these devices. We have musical instruments. I just bought 2 metal detectors so that people can go to the beach and do metal detecting. We don't have the staff or the equipment to clean every single piece of plastic that comes back. So we're not quite sure how to deal with library of things yet, except to say what is in people's hands right now is checked out until September 1st. And we'll hopefully have some more information from Institute of Museums and Library Services by then.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for sharing. That's all I have. Any closing comments from Beth, yourself, or any of the trustees? Very good. We're doing very well tonight. We have a few more items. So, Beth, did you have anything specifically for the state of the library, or was that covered?
I did not put that on the agenda, so I don't know whose item that is. The state of the library is stress.
Yeah.
Anxiety and stress.
Okay, I think that was my item, maybe from previous agendas.
But also that we really love serving our public, and we're happy to be getting questions, and we miss people, and yeah. So there's the anxiety and stress, but there's also I get to do what what I'm here to do again, provide materials and readers advisory and all that.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. Very good. Ash, do you have any walkabout data for us?
I don't. The last thing I had was a steeple. You should be happy. I haven't found anything other than, weeds, but I'm taking care of that.
I'm still waiting for a decision from the property manager owner about whether they're going to take the steeple down or just do a roof repair. And I think that Andy procured some quotes, and we're just waiting for a decision to be made. I'm not seeing an active leak, but I'm not always right there in that nonfiction section. So Beth, help me be vigilant when you're in and be watching out for dampness coming from the ceiling.
Okay, maybe that was discussed at the last meeting. Maybe I glossed over that in the minutes, but because of the roof issues, they might remove the steeple. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've been trying to get like a resolution since April or May. Very slow going.
Okay, very good. So I have a policy review, collection policy, but I thought we were going to review the academic policy.
We did look at the historical collection policy, and I forgot to send it out in advance, so that's entirely my fault. We apparently never, but we had an archivist come. Remember, we got a grant
Mhm.
And we narrowed down what we were keeping, sort of in anticipation of moving, to the new building, and to give us real direction for what to purchase and what to exclude. But we never approved it. And I think I saw a question somewhere, maybe in relation to a Grafton News article about what the role of the library was in archiving Grafton's history. And I wanted to share the policy and realize that it actually hasn't been approved. So I can send it out tonight so we can vote on it officially next month.
Thank you. Did we vote on a pandemic policy?
That I just sent out this morning with Ginny's recommended revisions. It was mostly grammar, sometimes a little language, nothing outstanding in terms of you can't do that or say that.
Okay.
But I'm happy to. We're in the midst of the pandemic. We're moving as best we can. So if you want to take the time to read it, I'm also fine with tabling that again.
And so then we can put it on the agenda to vote next time. If that's the goal. Okay.
For sure.
Okay, so for the Find Advocacy, the Find Free Library program, so I was ready to speak at the Finance Committee meeting, but it was such a busy meeting, and they had a lot to cover. They were going over all the warrants for the upcoming town meeting. It doesn't surprise me that this was not on their radar, even though it might have been, because they even had to cut the meeting short and then move it to another night because it was already 10 o'clock. So I did ask, is it Joanne from the town, I believe, yeah, just a little bit of advice on how to take something like this and determine how to work with the town government to get it approved, because that's our goal. And she had some really great thoughts on how to. She thinks we should present it to the select board and speak to them about it, and before we go to the finance committee to get the to have the select board support behind us when we speak to the finance committee, and also make it a special appointment to get on the finance committee agenda. Don't wait for them to invite us, right? So I think that's the goal, and I'm prepared to do that. So I will share with you guys, my plan on when I intend to speak to the select board about it. So I'd love some support on that. And then also, if they support us, with that initiative, then we'll talk to the finance committee, and then, hopefully we can check off this box and go find free, come opening of the library next year. So I'm really excited about it. Okay, any questions, comments? Yes, Danielle?
Wasn't it in the Worcester local news that they went Find Free and they had a really nice summary of basically the talking points about how advantageous it is to go Find Free and how fines were basically restricting people's access in a sense, in a real sense. So, I mean, it's great to have that news article, in our back pocket in a sense when we do actually go up to the finance committee to make our case.
Absolutely. It was so validating to read that article, as short as it was, just to see that they were hitting the same points that we've been talking about too. That they're not my original ideas. This is a sentiment of all these other libraries across the country. To have Worcester, our neighbor, absolutely. It's very validating. So yeah. Again, thank you for sharing. Very good. Any other questions, comments? Okay. I see that we have a director's report. Would you like to share that with us, Beth?
If you feel you have the bandwidth for PowerPoint, I did make a PowerPoint. I haven't
yeah.
for 3 months, so I know how much you've missed it, I'm sure.
Was that in the attachment? I don't see that in the
I did
email.
not know.
Okay,
I usually
okay.
don't, because it's lots of pictures. So I usually wait until I unveil it, and then I send it along to Beth for the official, should be publicized with the minutes and put on the website.
Beth would you like to move forward, Beth?
This, can you see the report, and is there are there black boxes blocking it out?
Nope, looks great.
So in June, it's always funny to be talking about the last month when we're almost at the end of the current month, but continue to refine our COVID-19 plan, which we've discussed. I mentioned staff came back June 15th. Remote management of up to 19 different people on a daily basis. Finalizing our fiscal year spending and doing lots of collection development. Because we always budget a lot of money for building and maintenance, we always build in a contingency because we're in this new building that we really aren't sure when things are going to go, and we're in an old building that was 100 years old. So because we have a bottom line budget, money that I didn't spend on the building, I was able to use to greatly increase ebook purchases. And I think we spent about $27,000 with Overdrive this year. Usually it's about 10% of our total book budget. And it was 20% this year. Because the override passed, all the staff got a 2% raise, so I have to do blue sheets every year for them with the new pay rate. That takes some time. American Alarm came and did a fire inspection and charged about $450 to replace some filters, and I'm waiting on the final report that I'll be sharing with our fire department. I went to the Friends meeting and I talked a little bit about the community read. Because of all the social distancing and people not being able to browse like they used to, we're adding more online services. We set up Freegal, which is a music service that allows you to both stream a certain number of hours per day, I think it might be 3 hours a day, and then download to keep for your very own personal music collection. I think it's up to 7 downloads of music a week. So that's a really great new service for people who can't get their hands on CDs right now. And then we had Comics Plus at one point. They used to be offered through a different service. They've changed leadership and are pushing to get libraries back on board with their comics ebook database. Like Hoopla and unlike Overdrive, Comics Plus, the material is always available. I forget if they have DC or Marvel. You can take my geek card away if you want. They do have one or the other. They have a ton of manga from Tokyo Pop. They have a huge amount of Disney plus independent stuff. You can recommend that they add authors, and they're always bringing new people on board. So that's all set up, and I'll be announcing it probably the end of the week that access to Comics Plus will be back. I'm really excited about it. I got to be the worm mama. In the past, we've ordered worms for the library garden, and they've shown up and sat in the sun and died. So I had them shipped directly to my house. Beth Patch said I took good care of them, and then I brought them to her to go into our garden so that we could grow lots of beautiful things. I did register for the ALA conference, but found I wasn't able to participate as much as I wanted because I was called just to do day-to-day duties, both at home and when I was on site, trying to participate in those various webinars. I'm not sure I could even tell you what I participated in and learned, but I have notes somewhere. And then lots of meetings. I did go to town meeting and sat out on the turf on the field for the 3.5-hour meeting. Our staff meeting, we continue to meet weekly as a staff just to check in and share information. I go to the Board of Health updates every week and hear about non-compliance from other town businesses. Construction continues to meet weekly remotely. I've been a member of the town's return to work committee, and now that they're starting to think about their phase 2 and 3, we've resumed our meetings. Department head meets at least once a month. I mentioned Blackstone Valley and CW Mars library directors are meeting, more frequently than usual to talk about things. Friends meeting, planning and building committee, which meets twice in August, and Grafton ukulele musicians. We did open a book drop in mid-June. At first I said it's only going to be open from 10 to 4 to bring materials. So I was afraid we would really get overwhelmed and people would just come and dump things. We did get a few donations, which we rehomed, but for the most part, we're checking it 2 or 3 times a day, and it's not been overflowing yet. Things are coming in at a good rate. We're doing no fines right now because it's food for fine season for us, and it is still a component of our online summer reading program. But also we had extended deadlines for materials from July 1st to September 1st. So if you see fines on your cards, we aren't making people responsible for them, and to just bring your materials back at your convenience. They are being quarantined now for 4 days. It was 3 days. And folks who have things at home that are too big, like a sewing machine, should call the library, and what we'll do is you tell us when you're going to come. We'll wheel out our return bin outside of the door. You time your drop off, put it in the bin, and we'll wheel it in right away so that it doesn't get stolen. We launched a big promotion of Novelist. We're still around to do Reader's Advisory, and it's a thing that we really are well trained in and love to do. But Novelist is our go-to. It's a database where you can put in key components of a style that you like, a theme that you like, an author, a series, and it will give you suggestions for what to read next. So this is the work of Ali Piccone, our newest hire, and she's been doing these little animated things. So if you see them on Facebook, the bullet points kind of load in, and then each of the covers loads in, and so we have 2 or 3 staff members participating with. This is what I personally like to read, and here's keywords I use to find what I'm going to read next. So these have been really fun and personal. People, if you're camera shy, you can use your dog or your cat. And once I think we run through all the staff, if trustees would like to do this, I think it would be really great. This is just an ad for Freegal, 15 million songs. Check it out if you haven't, grafton.freegalmusic.com. It's really funny to provide like my traditional statistical report because there's so many zeros for the services we're not providing. So I try to focus this time on things that we are. I did a breakdown of the reference questions that we answered in June by format. We are still getting like people at home asking us questions, or if someone who I know personally has my phone number, I'm getting reference questions texted to me or Facebook messaged to me. So however you have a question, we're happy to answer it. We moved our library card application process online so we could issue a digital card number so people could access Overdrive and Hoopla and Freegal and Comics Plus soon. We issued 21 new library cards in June. And at some point, once we're back in person, which could be in that phase 2, anyone with a digital card can come in and show their ID or proof of residency to trade it for a physical card to check out physical materials. But for now, those cards that we issued online are only for online resources. We did 38 programs in a variety of formats. Some were passive, like try this at home. Some were watch this video. Some were live online meetings. So we're still doing programming. Storytime is not live, but it is still happening. And for the first time, I predicted it would happen eventually. We did check out more digital items than physical items. So we're halfway through the calendar year. We've checked out 26,000 odd physical items, January to now, and 31,000 ebooks, e-video, e-magazines. So digital has surpassed print, only because of the pandemic. Children's Room was busy with lots of programs and doing promotion of so passive program is to promote a coloring sheet or to recommend that somebody goes to Bookflix or Hoopla to watch something and do an activity. They also helped launch our first online, all virtual summer reading program, which has, I can't even tell you how many different badges and challenges. Plus you can track your reading by minute or hour and earn badges that way. Teens are also participating in summer reading. So a lot of June was taken up with making sure that Beanstack was ready to go. Within just the first couple of weeks, we had 143 people sign up. 943 completed an activity, which could have been an activity badge or just said that they read. 610 badges were earned, and participants read 25,977 minutes, and it had doubled by mid-July. And then Allison has launched a programs to go thing where instead of coming in person to do a library program and you're all doing the same thing, she bought a bunch of different kits. People can request things that they're interested in, whether it's crafting with clay or painting or mosaics or whatever. And then she's asking, if you want to get a second kit, you have to take a picture of what you made and share it on social media. So kids are participating in that. We've been doing this Lego challenge once a week, and again, promoting databases, age-specific databases. Imagine Your Story is a summer reading program, and when you go to graftonlibrary.org/SRP, you get the directions for how to use Beanstack, and then to the right here is just a sampling of all the different badges you can earn. For Food for Fines, there's 2 steps. I think what we do is we ask you to make a donation and say that you made the donation, and then send us some proof, whether it's a canceled check or a picture of your bank statement with that deduction to the food bank. And then you earn the badge for participating in Food for Fines, and we go in and we waive your library fines. I think we are waiving fines for everybody right now, as are most libraries, but we still want to help out the food bank. They're giving out Stop and Shop gift cards right now because they're not collecting food like they would normally be doing. Adult Services, Heidi posted 5 virtual book discussions on Slack. We're making sure that we're buying digital copies of those titles she's discussing. GUM, the Grafton Ukulele musicians, did meet online with Zoom in June. And this is just a photo of our GUM musicians from probably February or March at Apple Tree Arts, back when we used to be able to sing together. It's not the same. Miss Jan has a beautiful voice, but you don't get all that rich harmony. Quite as much fun. Donna added 203 items. We're still using Wowbrary, which is really great. You get an email every week, and you can click right on those titles to make an immediate request. Often there's a waiting list because lots of people are subscribing. But please do subscribe if you haven't already. We are getting a feed for our electronic purchases as well, and it's really easy to tell what format that new item is available in, so you can make your request. Donna has also been schooling herself in Ancestry.com and has taken a bunch of crash course in various readers advisory topics to learn more about genre. She's a mystery reader, in case you didn't know, but she says that the crash course in graphic novels offered by novelists was really helpful. And she's also been participating in attending Worcester Public Library's weekly book chat hosted by the teen librarian. So even though she may not be reading YA literature herself, it's really interesting for her as a library employee to see what other library staff are doing, and then kind of compare our collection to how does it rate. She's also always doing database cleanup to make sure that you can find what you're looking for with the catalog. And she's always looking at mystery book reviews. Comments from the public. Someone finally tried Overdrive because they got sick of spending money on Kindle books, and is very happy that they can now access things for free. People are appreciative that we're able to renew their cards online very easily. And I got a nice compliment on the July newsletter, which went out very, very late, about mid-month this past month. Our number one thing on the no log was just over and over for June. No, we're not ready for curbside pickup yet. No, we're not open to the public. No, you can't browse. No, there's no delivery. They're just, not available. And the number one yes log question was, yes, you can get a library card. So I'm thrilled that we were able to bring this online to increase access and decrease barriers to getting access to all of the amazing resources that we have. And we've been doing lots of bibliographic instruction too over the phone. I don't know if any staff have used Zoom yet, but I had someone call today who'd never used Overdrive, never used Libby, had to get a copy of a book. And I was probably on the phone for 10 minutes, and we don't have the same screen, trying to figure out why she's not seeing what I'm seeing. She did ultimately get what she wanted through Overdrive from another network. And then I've mentioned these Friends things that are happening, the bag program, the topping off ceremony that's tomorrow at noon, the community read that's coming up, Comics Plus, and finally, I do have a draft long-range planning survey, which I said to 3 people to look at. I'm going to make a tweak and release it tomorrow and get that out there. It'll be out for about 2 weeks. The staff met today with Patty DiTullio, our long-range planning consultant, to go through some exercises with her and talk about their thoughts and feedback on our future for the next 5 years, post-COVID, and in a new building. Hey, that was like 15 minutes, sorry. Happy to take questions.
Well, that's what we've all been waiting for, just to kind of hear really how the library is doing and how patrons are responding to, limited access they have to their library. So that was very well done. Thank you, Beth.
Got dark while I was talking.
Mhm. Yeah, that's dark.
Now are outside shining on the side of the building. Or the-
Okay. So I guess we don't have any visitors comment, but one of the things I would have liked to do tonight, but we're down so many trustees, is just to re-elect or elect leadership, because it's time to do that. I know that Karen is interested in vice chair again, and I'm interested in the chair position again. But since Karen's not here, I can't really nominate someone who's not here, because I think they need to
Was
accept
this
the
on the,
nomination.
was this on the agenda?
It's not. So I don't intend to elect new leadership tonight. So I'd like to make sure it just shows up on next month's agenda, because it's something that we need to do. But yes, so I believe, Patch, can you confirm that somebody needs to be available to accept the nomination?
Yes, somebody does, and we would not move forward to do a nomination unless it's on the agenda.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, very good, thank you. Well, that's all that I have, and I think we are finished at 8:34 p.m. Any other closing comments? Anybody?
Just real quick, Beth, can you circulate your director's report, the electronic version? Thank you.
Excellent, very good. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I will move to adjourn.
Okay, any second? I saw,
I'll second.
okay, very good. Thank you, Doug. All in favor? Aaron Van Nestien, aye.
Doug Bowman, aye.
Marty Esner, aye.
Yellow Sharma, aye.
Very good. I guess that was all in favor. Very good. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you very much.